Welcome to Dicegeeks.com Tabletop RPG Show. Level up your RPG campaigns by filling yourself with stories and knowledge. Explore topics from archaeology to film history to writing to literature and much, much more. This is Dicegeeks.com Tabletop RPG Show.
Welcome to the show, and you might have already noticed something different. Today, I do not have a guest. This is a special announcement episode. Will be that I am putting the podcast on pause, at least, for a while. I have been working on the podcast here for 3.5 years. An episode every week for that time. It is a very intense, I guess, part-time job. And I have loved pretty much every minute of it so far. I have talked with and interviewed and met some amazing role players, game designers, filmmakers, people I just would have never had the opportunity to speak to if I did not do a podcast, and I am grateful for that. However, things have just become too busy for me, keeping up with episodes, also releasing my RPG books. Of course, the podcast, I have not made a cent off the podcast in those 3.5 years, other than a small handful of faithful patrons that I am grateful for. However, I do need to take a break right now. At least, like I said, I'm looking into some options for maybe changing the format a little bit so I can cut down some of the editing time and the recording time, but I'm not sure yet about that. I think I just need to step away for a bit. I really want to create some more tabletop resource books to really just help game masters and dungeon masters, and was my core mission to begin with. I want to make it as easy as possible for anybody who wants to play a tabletop role-playing game just to jump in and to run that game. And that's my mission with Dicegeeks.com. That is my mission with the Books of Random Tables, with my Dungeons for the Master book, for my Dungeons book. That is just my goal. I want people just to jump in and play a role-playing game without having to feel like they have to plan, for hours and hours and hours before a session. Of course, I laid out my philosophy in my little book, The No Prep Game Master. I just want as many people to play tabletop role-playing games and as many people as possible to enjoy this hobby. The podcast was part of that mission, but right now, I think it is starting to interfere with me putting out some new books. And so I just really can't have that. So because I want to put out some more resource books to really help game masters and role players. Like I said, I loved doing this podcast. I really enjoy interviewing and having conversations with people. It is my sincere hope that all of my listeners has enjoyed my interviews. Of course, the interviews that I've done in the past will stay up online and are available. There are 179 episodes that you can enjoy and get Game Master and Dungeon Master advice, story advice, writing advice. Really, grateful for all the people who have taken time to listen to the podcast over these 3.5 years. It was always a delight to hear people's response to interviews, have them write in or comment to me, email me, and let me know that an interview helped them learn something about tabletop role-playing games, gave them some insight onto a topic. And that was just incredible. That feeling is just incredible every time that happens. And I am grateful that I'm grateful for all my guests who are willing to come on to the show. I still have several interviews, almost people who have been wanting to be interviewed, and that is just awesome as well. So, like I said, I may rework the format. I may go to a less frequent schedule, but for right now, at least for a couple months, I am going to take a break. I really hope in the meantime, like I said, you can go back and enjoy some of the episodes. If you haven't listened to all 179, which I'm sure many people haven't, you can go back and enjoy those episodes. You can also head over to Dicegeeks.com and find my books there. I have been creating some more blog posts on Dicegeeks.com recently. Like I said, the mission of Dice Geeks is to help game masters, help role players play whatever game they're playing, play it better. I would love to hear from you. My email address is just matt@dicegeeks.com. If you are sad to see the podcast go, send me an email and let me know. If you have appreciated the show in some way, you can drop me a line. That would be very encouraging and helpful to me, so that maybe this should only be a break and not the end to the podcast. I would greatly appreciate that. I always love hearing from people who have engaged with my work, or if you have suggestions on how to make the podcast better, that would be amazing as well. I am not really going anywhere. You can find all of my work on DriveThruRPG. You can find it on Amazon.com or at Dicegeeks.com. And so I am thankful, like I said, for everybody who has listened. And stay tuned. We might get something else in the future. But as always, please, 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 keep gaming.